Hi guys, there were a couple people who wanted to know how my husband and I budget our finances, and I thought that this was a really good question because budgeting is very important and financial security is very important. With my job, I often work with people who are homeless or are transitioning out of homelessness, and a very important part of the program I work for is creating and maintaining a budget. To start off with, we keep a whiteboard of pretty much all of our expenses, and we have it broken down into 3 areas: income, our expenses, excuse my lines if they're not straight, and our third category, which is our debts and credit. So the first thing to pay attention to when making a budget is obviously going to be your income. If you don't know what's coming in, how can you figure out what is going to be going out? We started our budget based on my husband's paycheck after taxes. He is the highest earner in our family, our family is just me and him. If I wasn't able to work, or if I wasn't working, that we would still be able to get along just fine. So we based all of our budgeting around one income. So we have my husband's income and we have my income. We're both paid bi-weekly. On our whiteboard, we have our paycheck amount. I have it listed under each of our names, our checking account, and our personal savings account. We each have one of these. A checking account is to write checks with or to use a debit card with. And then under my name, since I work for AmeriCorps, I have my stipend, which counts as income, and you do your taxes. We do 3 things with the money from our paychecks. We pay down our debts, we pay our fixed expenses and our flexible expenses, and we put money into savings. We have 2 joint savings accounts. One account is our emergency fund. Now, your emergency fund should have 6 months or more of your salary. So half of your salary should be in your emergency fund. We don't have that much, but it is a goal to work towards. Our second savings account is what we call our want or our goal fund. This is what we put money into for things like vacation or for upcoming expenses. Like this was previously, we used this to save money for my new car. We're currently using it to save money for vacation, and we know that our dog will be having a surgery coming up within the next year or 2, so we want to save up for that. The first thing that comes out of our paychecks is for retirement. We both have a 401k and a Roth IRA. Now you can get a Roth IRA or just a regular IRA, it doesn't really matter. With the Roth IRA, you can put in up to $5,000 a year. For the 401k, it's recommended that you put as much as your employer matches. So my husband's employer matches 7.5%, so we put in 10%, or he puts in 10%. The second thing that comes out of my husband's paycheck is different insurances. Our health insurance comes out, and I like to put these expenses in orange because we're not really losing money. With retirement and health insurance, you are getting that back in a way. It pay off eventually, it's worth it to have it. It's a long-term investment. Our health insurance costs $50 a month. This is for 2 people. Prices can really range. With our insurance, we also know that we will be paying for prescriptions monthly. So those are our medical expenses. On top of this, we have our rent. If you're not renting, then this would be your mortgage. This is also a fixed expense. It's suggested that your total rent be less than 1/3 of your income. However, this isn't possible in all areas of the US. If you live in a major city like New York or even Boston, San Francisco is notorious for this, you're not gonna really be able to find a place for 33% of your income. About 20% of Americans actually pay 50% or more of their income in rent. Our rent is actually we pay less than 20% of Augie's income. If you do rent, then you're gonna have renter's insurance. Even if you own a home, you're gonna have some sort of homeowner's insurance. I think is $35 a month, which is pretty average for renters. Along with rent, you're gonna have your utilities. Some of your utilities may be included in your rent. Our water is included in our rent, so we just pay for electric. Ideally, your utilities are going to be between 2 to 10% of your income. For utilities, we don't classify cable, internet, and cell phone as utilities. The reason we don't do that is because you don't need to have cable and internet in your house, and you don't need a smartphone. Obviously, having a cell phone is important, especially if you're searching for a job, in which case it's more of a necessity than anything. First things we're going to get rid of are going to be our cable and our internet if we need to decrease spending in some area. Phone and cable separate. Those are also generally fixed rates. Your phone rate can vary a little bit, but if you have an installment plan, then it's not really going to vary. Same with the utilities. Okay, so now we get into our expenses that change a little bit. The first is our groceries and food. We list these as different because we have two different ways of handling our food money. On groceries, we spend about $220 a month. And for food, this is like eating out, Starbucks, little snack things. We aim for less than $80 a month. You should be spending for food 10 to 20% of your income. That's the general estimate. We spend way less than that. I go grocery shopping generally twice a month, and this goes on our credit card. So if you have a rewards card, usually rewards card, you get rewards on groceries and on gas. So we use our rewards card for this. Keep track of our grocery spending is, we keep the receipts, keep them like this. This is this month's. Now I shop at Hy-Vee where we get reward points. So Hy-Vee has a fuel saver program. So if you get certain items, you get a certain amount of cents off. Then what I do is I go through and check off the items that we use up. If by the next month those items haven't been checked off and it was like a perishable item, then I don't buy that again next time I go grocery shopping because that means we didn't use it up. With the food, do this in cash. We take out $80 in cash at the beginning of the month, and then every time we eat out or buy something extra or want to order pizza or whatever it is, we have to pay in cash. The change from that goes into our cool little piggy bank. And then at the end of the month, if we haven't spent all the $80, the change goes into the piggy bank again. And this is just a good way for us to save. We can do whatever we want with the money we save from this. This really just keeps us from eating too much junk food. I use a special diet. I don't really eat gluten. We don't really eat high fructose corn syrup. So this is with a specialized diet. Adding on to that, I was just talking about the fuel saver, so we have on here gas, and this changes a lot. Ideally, for your travel expenses, you're going to be spending less than 15%. So travel expenses, you may not drive a car, you may take a bus, you may take a train. This will be your travel expenses, and it should be less than 15%. Ours is ours is 13%. If you drive a car, you're going to have car insurance. This again is going to vary by lots of things. The type of car you have, how many accidents you've been in, if you're a man or a woman. We got super lucky, and we're actually really surprised at how cheap our insurance is, but it's only $99 a month. They also have good student discounts, there's good driver discounts, there's veteran discounts, there's all sorts of discounts that you can apply to get an even lower rate. Now the final thing that we have in here, we just call it sports. This is things like our gym membership and our club team dues. So we both do club team sports and we both go to the gym. But we actually count this towards our health. So what happens is a lot of health insurance companies, and even companies that you're employed by, are giving you benefits and incentives to go to the gym and these sort of preventative health measures. You might want to check with your health insurance if you have it, or with your employer if you have one, to see if you can get refunded for your gym membership. I know that we get refunded for ours. There's also benefit refund type programs for if you're overweight and you lose a certain percentage of body weight or body fat. You'll sometimes get an incentive or like a deal through your health insurance with that if you quit smoking. If this also includes things like 5Ks, charity runs, charity walks, charity bike, charity swims, all that stuff. So this can vary quite a lot. Over here we have the scary section. This is our debt board, credit card payments. So most of our debt is held up in student loans. We have two types of student loans. If you're in the US, there are the federal, private. So we both have federal and private loans. And then on top of that, I didn't leave enough room, but we have my car payment. We just keep track of how much a month we're paying towards the various loans. Now for me, my stipend will be applied to my federal loans. There's different ways to do that. There's all kinds of stuff with federal loans that you can do. And if you're interested in that, then let me know, because that's a whole other topic. We have two credit cards, our food and gas, or our grocery and gas, and then our emergency card. Our food and gas, obviously we pay for our groceries and our gas with, because we get rewards points. So this one we do pay every month. Our emergency card, we don't really use this ever. I think we've used it once in the 3 years that we have had it. And this is for generally medical emergencies. Credit cards can be very good debt to have, because if you pay them off in a timely manner and you've optimized which cards and debts and stuff you're going to pay, then it raises your credit score. And if you have a high credit score, that's really good. That means you get lower interest rates on things like car loans. So you'll have a lower monthly car payment if you want to buy a new car. It also lowers your rates on things like home loans. So this is our budget. Obviously, I don't have the actual numbers down for you because you don't really need to know that, but you get the general overview of what we do. I keep track of everyday type spending in my planner, which I have a file of facts, and I keep track of everyday spending in there. But these are the most important things. These are the things that we really want to keep track of. I hope that this was helpful for you, and if you have any questions about any of this stuff, or you want me to go into more detail about any of it, then let me know and I will be more than happy to do that for you.